what else are we going to be working on today?
Well, I have a bunch of songs that I started, during the pandemic, and you might notice this around the studio, I really acquired a lot of synths. I got heavy into the analog synth world, and always liked analog synths, but I just got a little obsessed with them, and I started recording a lot of ideas that I have now started to kind of go through and try to finish. No, most of them were instrumentals, and then I wrote a vocal. This one, I think, from the beginning, the one we're gonna work on now, had a vocal idea, but a lot of these were just instrumental ideas that then became songs. But it's heavy. All these songs are kind of heavy on the analog synths, and it's just so much fun because I kind of, in many cases, designed the sounds from scratch. And that in itself is a kind of a new way of writing music that I hadn't explored before, which is kind of start the creative process from the sound itself, not just from a chord progression or a lyric idea, but from just the sounds and how they make you feel or whatever. So this song is in Spanish, and it has some influence from a band that was huge in the 80s called Mecano. They stopped being a band in the early 90s, but in the 80s in Spain and Mexico and some countries in Latin America, they were like huge, enormous. And this has perhaps a little bit of a reference to those guys, Mecano. So anyway, this is called Te vi remar, I saw you. How do you call it when you in a boat you do this?
Row.
You row. See, I spaced on the word. Te vi remar, I saw you row, and it's kind of like when you see somebody struggling in life and trying to survive, and you're like rowing against maybe the current or bad weather. I think that's where the idea came from. So let's see how this sounds. It's almost loaded.